This jacket is a nationality reveal.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Random input. I have updated the last titles video, so instead of starting at episode 0, we're starting at episode 1, meaning that this episode is episode 3. Today we're going to be reviewing Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke. Princess Mononoke.
Princess Monkey. Princess Mononoke is one of those movies that nobody in my friend group would ever watch because they all have awful taste. A conversation with one of my friends when it comes to choosing a TV show or a movie to watch usually goes something like, hey, do you want to watch an action movie where the formula is the exact same, there's a good guy and a bad guy, or we could watch a teen drama where there's a bunch of high schoolers who do drugs and the premise of the show is they do a lot of drugs. No, I'm not watching Euphoria. For those of you that don't know, Princess PM is an anime movie, and it's one of those movies that gives a lot to its plot, yet it still manages to maintain beautiful animation. Princess, the movie, it discusses a bunch of themes, and it tackles them all maturely. When you have people debating themes up till this day in intricate discussions, as I like to call them, then you haven't just created a movie with simple plot and writing. You've definitely created something that has superior plot and superior writing compared to mainstream movies that are out today. But seriously, hats off to Hayao Miyazaki for creating something that special. Sometimes when a movie is filled with heavy content and heavy themes, viewers tend to overrate and overthink those scripts. Just because, you know, it decided to deal with specific issues, people think that it's a lot more deeper than it actually is. Oh, it's a very beautiful movie. The screenwriter has done it again. What beautiful work. Okay, what's so good about it? It deals with issues, man. Issues such as terrorism. How on earth does it deal with? There's a brown guy. The reason why Princess Mononoke works so well is because it weaves those themes together and it makes it work. Moving on, I wanted to discuss my favorite part of the movie. My favorite part of the movie revolves around, you know, the characters in this movie, especially how there wasn't a specific antagonist. So, who am I supposed to support in this movie? Well, on one hand, you have the wolves and Princess Mononoke who fight for the environment. Oh yeah, that's cool. I like the environment. It's pretty dope. They want to deport every human outside of where they live, and they'll kill them if they have to. Oh, okay. And the other side, often made out as the antagonist of this movie, Lady Eboshi, who's a leader who leads with positive influence. She believes in feminism and treating everyone with respect, regardless of what disease or illness you may have. She has also freed a large number of people from oppressive environments. Oh, alright, yeah, no, I guess she seems pretty reasonable. She wants to cut down all the trees in front of her just to create weaponry, specifically guns, and she doesn't care if she kills all the animals and destroys their homes in the way. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you create an effective protagonist. Ashitaka, the boy who's destined to die but instead spends the rest of his life, instead of, you know, withering away, trying to stop this war using his logic and using logic that appeals to both sides of the war. An effective protagonist, antagonist, supporting cast, crew, whatever you guys want to call the side characters. Where this movie's strong point was definitely its characters and its weaving of themes, not only within the characters, but even within the atmosphere and the environment. Onto the cons. Now, there's not actually a lot of cons, but I had a few that you guys may disagree with because, again, this movie is great. Disclaimer, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, so. Now, this is gonna sound kind of weird. Although characters are a strong point of this movie, a weak point of this movie are character dynamics. Now, there's a difference. So when you have good characters, you have good character building on their own, but character dynamics is the interaction between two characters. Now, this movie did both a good and bad job of it. So how it did a good job was, you know, with Lady Eboshi, I get this, but how she interacts with, you know, her citizens, her people, Ashitaka, or even her citizens who have leprosy. You can tell that she's a respectful character. Now, where it fell short was with Ashitaka and Princess Mononoke's relationship. Although there was definitely times where, you know, Miyazaki did a great job building the relationship between the two, I feel like there definitely could have been more. There's potential for so much more. For example, there were scenes where Ashitaka would just randomly say things on impulse where it felt like he was just, reading lines off of a novel for a really mediocre novel adaptation. However, this wasn't always the case. There was definitely scenes where it was really powerful, where Ashitaka would tell Princess Mononoke that she looks beautiful, and he said that on impulse. However, the setup of the scene was impactful, dramatic, and we were robbed of more of those scenes. I felt like if the movie was longer, that's definitely something I would add more of, just the strengthening of the relationship between those two characters, the character dynamics, I should say. Now, another con I had alongside the rushed character dynamics was the movie's pacing being slow when it didn't need to be. What you could have done is replace, some of that unnecessary atmosphere building with more character dynamic building, if that makes sense. Disclaimer, again, opinion, less atmosphere building, even though Miyazaki does a great job of atmosphere building, there's sometimes too much, and more character dynamics would have been wonderful, or more character dynamic building, as we can see, we know what Miyazaki is capable of, and that's why we want to see more of that character dynamic building. I give this movie a 9.25 out of 10. If you like watching movies that are more so an experience and deal with complex themes, Princess Mononoke, did I get it that time? Princess Mononoke? Sorry, if you're interested in complex themes being weaved together, PM is the movie for you. However, if you're more so a fan of turning your brain off and watching mindless action with minimal plot, then I wouldn't recommend this movie at all. And that's the end of this video. With the other 2 episodes dropping tonight, I can confirm that this will be the highest rating out of the other 2 movies. Stay tuned.